Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next episode of Collect This. Today we are joined by a man that has been part of this community for a really long time now. It is FrostyFreak 708. What is going on, Freak? How are we doing today?
Yesterday. So that's all we can ask for.
True. Now, we ask everybody this question. This is, we talk about collections and things like that. I wanted to ask you, Freak, what kind of stuff do you collect?
Um, Honestly, I have a scant collection of Funko Pops. I'd like to collect more of them, but obviously I need the shelving to do so, so I can not properly display them. Hats, obviously because sometimes I don't. I mean, this is a new thing, but either way, even back when I used to wear hats just often. Um, and also side note, I just collect blades.
Interesting. Okay. Just like anything specific? Like, I know there's like the Asian
Um,
inspired ones are really cool.
Just nothing specific. Just I mean, a lot of them are more self defense like, but some of them are just more practical. Like especially if you're going camping and so on and so forth. Like I have one that's like a spade, so it has its practical uses. So it's just a variety of things for all sorts of things. Because again, I'm not a big fan of guns, so that's
Yeah,
just my other alternative.
I got you. I got you. And I would assume that you carry then with the shank wherever you're going.
Depends. Mainly I do, and they usually like there's usually one that I kind of carry around that goes around here, kind of fits right in between the knuckles. Because everything else is a little bigger and depending on where I'm going can be a little noticeable.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any? There like probably don't have any practical use at all. You just have it because it looks cool.
Probably the switchblade, honestly.
Nice.
I mean, because I mainly use it as a letter opener because, in all honesty, nobody's gonna sit there as I fucking flip this thing around. I'm gonna get punched or shanked in the time that I do
By the
all
time,
my goofy stuff with
yeah.
it.
I mean, you see it in the movies and it looks dope as fuck,
I mean,
but
I mean, when you do it, it feels cool, and you feel badass doing it. But I'm like, there's no practical use for it other than trying to intimidate somebody who's just gonna run up and deck you.
exactly. Whatever weapon they have is probably gonna hit you before the before you do your fancy trick.
I
Exactly.
mean, but by the time you do that, somebody's already broken the bottle and is already trying to slash at you. So I mean, you're just looking cool for the sake of looking cool.
I got you. I got you. So
It's basically an expensive fidget spinner that I have going.
okay. Well, I mean, it's a letter opener too. Okay. So Funko Pops. What is your favorite Funko Pop, and what is a pop that you would really like? You regret not getting when you had the chance to get one, or it?
Honestly, my most favorite Funko Pop right now would be there's actually two of them. One my sister gave me that I have on the table, but I don't feel like reaching over for it right now. Is a Happy Gilmore Funko Pop
Nice.
that my sister gave me, and then the other one that I got from my former partner. She gave me a Destiny Funko Pop of the PvP NPC, Lord Shax, that I
Okay.
still have in the box with my other Funkos. That again, I want to properly place up. Once I get the proper shelving for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like getting shelving and they eat up a lot of the storage after a little while too. I mean, you saw
Hey, but
some of
that's
my pops, but
but I mean that's why it's a collection. I mean, you obviously you want to collect these things and they have some value to them, even if it's just a sentimental value. So it's something that you enjoy. I mean, people collected stamps for how long?
that's true. Although I feel like stamps is probably an easier thing to maintain because you could just put them in,
Well, you
just
could you could put them in a
little
little in a
binder.
little binder,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, pops are, they're kind of big, and then if you want the double pop or the triple pop or the pop rides, like they have like huge, or they have those like 6 and 10 inch pops now. Those are
I've
wild too.
noticed, and I actually missed. That's speaking on that same topic. That's actually one of the ones I wished I had picked up when I had the chances. From the same game Destiny, there was like a 6 inch or like 10 inch Funko Pop of one of the raid bosses in the game that I missed that opportunity. I'm sure I can find it, but I'm gonna probably pay a pretty penny for it.
Yeah, and this is big. I mean, unless you find it locally, it's gonna be a pretty penny just to ship it.
Yep.
It's not like Amazon where you just get it here and you pay whatever you pay to Amazon every year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes you think. And when you're not using Amazon in buying Funko Pops like at retail exclusives, like paying shipping and handling kind of sucks sometimes. You're like, oh man, I gotta pay shipping and handling.
Yeah, and then sometimes the shipping and handling is far more expensive than the goofy Funko. I'm like, okay, so the Funko cost me $20, but the shipping handling is like 30. How does this? No.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they're like, well, I mean, it's the price you have to pay for our handling services. The shipping is like $5,
It's like,
and
it's like, bro, you stuck it in a box with some bubble wrap.
exactly,
Please,
exactly.
please don't give me that bull crap.
I know, man. It is it's like I said, Amazon has made us very comfy. Uh,
Yes, they have.
with everything. I mean, the 2 day shipping, like or depending on the area you live in, you can even get 4 hours shipping. I think you probably have 4 hours shipping in Chicago, right?
On certain items, yes. But, I mean, it's usually 1 day.
Yeah.
Normally, it's 1 day because of a lot. Oh my god, they're building they're building another warehouse a bit closer than our normal one in Joliet, and Joliet's about a good almost an hour away.
Okay, that makes sense. Then why would it be a little bit further around? Yeah,
Yeah.
when they built them in Dallas, it was wild. Like, they built two massive warehouses in Dallas, and all of a sudden, like, it went from 1 day shipping to or next day shipping to 4 hours shipping. I was like, whoa, like this is nice. It's like you buy something and it's there in 4 hours. Like it's like this is pretty dope. Right now, I mean, in Tennessee right now, it's not like that. I mean, and then they use USPS sometimes, and USPS is kind of a disaster sometimes, especially the one here. It's like sometimes things don't arrive in 2 days. Sometimes they arrive in 3 or 4 days, depending on if it
Yeah,
gets
Sunday
lost.
Sunday there's an unexpected delay.
Yeah, and it's not that much time if you think about it, but
No.
since you're so used to something else, you just get so annoyed with it. You're like, oh,
I mean, for the most part, luckily most of the things are delivered here in the little proprietary Amazon vans or whatever the case may be,
yeah, those are good.
or third-party shippers and so on and so forth. And it's very rare that something is USPS. And I'm glad for that kind of. I mean, yeah, no. Obviously because Amazon being Amazon and as much as you don't want to get from them to support local businesses, like sometimes it's just more convenient. And even in the terms of how they deal, contract with third party shippers and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
the convenience outweighs sometimes, you know, anything else. But it's, USPS being the method, like you said, the method it is, especially in certain areas, and then even worse so since the last administration decided to gut USPS even further. What was an inconvenience now has become sometimes an absolute nightmare
Yep. Yep.
in terms of shipping.
Yeah, I mean, I love USPS still. I mean, it's probably the most affordable, but
Oh yeah, bar none.
I wouldn't like I didn't trust it with my desktop being shipped over here, and like I was like, no, like that's not a good idea. UPS or FedEx all the way on that. Just depends really. And it stinks. I mean, I feel like Amazon kind of owns USPS in a sense because they made them open on Sunday now too.
I mean, but that's also part of business as well because I mean UPS and FedEx also ship on weekends,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it makes no sense on their part. I mean, despite the fact that they're government thing, but it makes no sense, especially if we're trying to compete with other package handling. It's like you kind of have to.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Um, so Funko Pops, you got blades. I was also thinking like experiences. Freak, you really like to travel, and I think you just recently traveled. I feel like in my opinion, and this is words from a wise person. You have unique, fun experiences, and it's like you have a collection of different experiences in your life.
I didn't think about that as much, but yes, and then even further on that, I didn't do it this time, but then again, I've already visited Michigan like at least thrice already. But I usually collect shot glasses from wherever I visit.
Okay.
You just have some kind of memorabilia of wherever I go. Um, like whenever I went to Boston, I've got Red Sox shot glasses. When I went to New York, I had like the little, you know, the shooter shot glasses from New York of various types. We got stuff from Michigan, Minnesota. Uh, Florida. The last time I went there.
Nice. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I like to collect stuff like that too, like little knickknacks. So like I get to do pins. Like when I went to Cleveland, I got the
Ah,
the guitar at the draft, and I it's either pins or magnets or something. Like in Illinois or in Illinois, I got a nice magnet for the fridge. Just that's a fun thing to do too, and it's something that you forget sometimes. But when you're there, you're like, oh, I got to get something from somewhere before I leave here.
and the magnet thing I don't do too often because I feel like it feels like something that everyone does,
Yeah.
sort of. But I think the only time I picked up a magnet is when I went to Canada. Again, I still bought a shot glass regardless, but even still, I'm like, let me get a few other things.
Yeah, Canada's a little special though. It's. I mean, it's not far, but it's still like gotta take a trip to get past customs, etc., etc.
Which I'm actually, when I went to Ottawa, it's kind of a funny experience that when I went there and I was studying French on Duolingo at the time, and I'm sitting there pretty confident in myself, like, yeah, all right, I'll be able to understand at least, if not every other word, but every third word. And the lady started speaking to me. She started speaking to me in French, and I'm like, I'm fucking lost. I'm like, everything I thought I knew clearly is not working. And she probably saw the confusion on my face and reverted to English. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Nice, nice. Yeah, she probably did. She was like, "Oh, this
But
guy
it was
has no
the clear
idea."
slap. It was a clear slap in the face reality check. I'm like, the comprehension is not where I thought it was, and I need to chickadee check myself now.
Yeah, yeah.
It was fine when I got to hear, like, the overhead announcements on the airport. After when you hear that several times, like, I caught those words.
Yeah, you're like, yes, I know how to speak whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
after it's like repeated, like, five or four times, like, those I got those. But just at the cuff, and especially speaking in like a manner like you and I, like on a regular speaking tone, I'm like, nope, not there yet. Can't do it.
I guess that's probably how somebody feels when they get to make an order for food at a Mexican restaurant or something like that. All in Spanish.
Oh yeah, well, and speaking of which, that's always kind of an interesting ordeal whenever you're stuck with like English speakers and you're the only one who speaks Spanish, and then suddenly you're speaking at a normal pace and they look just as lost as I was when I went through customs.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I mean,
They-
I feel like Spanish speakers though speak Spanish like way faster than it's way faster than what we speak English. I don't know. I don't feel like we speak English that fast compared to like Spanish. Like Spanish, we could just like boom, like go through like a whole sentence within like
Well,
2 seconds.
listen. We have a point to get across. There's something we want, and we have no time to waste.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
We're not gonna sit here with niceties. We want something. We're just gonna tell you like immediately in rapid style.
So it's Pride Month, obviously. It is today's
Yes.
June 3rd, and by the time this broadcast, it'll be June 5th. I see the flag behind you. Freak, is there any experiences that you wanna, just any experiences when it comes to Pride Month that you have had good memories in the past?
Um, Pride Month is usually hasn't been too bad for me, or in general. Last year obviously we couldn't have the Pride parade in downtown or anything, which is kind of a bummer. And there's talks of they're gonna do it this year. And usually the Pride parade is the last weekend of June. But given everything that's in the current environment, it's like I want to go because it'd be nice to see people in general and just the vibe of the parade and everything. Just the atmosphere itself is always great, but at the same time, it's like especially with vaccination rates, it's like I want to, but and I'm fully vaccinated, but even still, I'm like,
I understand. Yeah, it's one of those things that yeah. Uh,
I mean, other than that, I have a grand time.
yeah, I mean, I've
I
seen I've seen like the Pride Month parades. When I lived in Houston, were really like big. Like, I lived in the Montrose area. That's kind of like the district where those parades happen, and it was always fun to watch. I mean, obviously, didn't go and participate because it feels weird not being the LGBTQIA person, like, but obviously it's not that
You-
you know.
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at a lot of people who aren't a part of that, who are just who are just allies, and they're. I mean, you go there with a friend or who is or isn't, and you're just there to support. And I mean, you're still gonna have fun as well. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. It is like everything's going crazy.
and it's fun to watch and it's fun to be a part of because even though there's not supposed to be any drinking out in the streets, it still happens every day anyways. Or you pregame, or just in general, people like we usually bring snacks, and
Okay.
we're usually pretty popular due to the fact that we bring sandwiches and just for a throng of people who are probably hungry and maybe hungover, but
Most likely hungover for sure.
whatever.
Nice, nice.
Handle yourself better.
Yeah, I definitely want to experience that. Maybe not this year, but here in the future, it would be fun to go. Depending on where I'm at, where I'm living at, it'd be fun to experience it for sure.
Yes.
I think awareness is really important. I think we have plenty of people in our community that classify themselves as something within the pride banner, whether it be lesbian, gay, trans. Somebody classifies as something within the community, and it's really important to put a not just a month. I feel like we should celebrate it year round, but have that pinpoint month where we identify the amazingness of the community. It's an important thing, and I wanted to make sure that we had somebody in every podcast this month that classified themselves as that.
Yeah, and I mean, people. I mean, we have there's a lot of pushback nowadays. With the the super straight pride parade, the super straight pride, or whatever they want to come up with now, because it never was a thing until people decided to make a reaction out of it. You know, it's like this is this is our. I mean, like you said, there should be more awareness of it. It shouldn't just be contained to 1 month, but this is our month. So every all these other topics shouldn't be just contained in 1 month, but it's like, okay, this is our time, and now you want to take this. You want to take this because you're feeling uppity about, I guess, a sense of pride, or not even a sense of pride, but because you're hurt that you don't get a month, even though like all other 11 months of the year is about straightness or whatever the case you want to make. But now you want to make a parade for yourselves about it because no other parade has ever been about you guys.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't really understand what it's all about, and it's disappointing and discouraging sometimes. But I think just continue to try to educate, and I think it's important for them
And
to learn and have an
yeah,
open mind.
and like I said, and especially what it took to even get this was a lot of people in the community, literally fighting for this.
Yep.
Having riots thrown about this and just throwing all the stuff that goes with the riots, like literally people being beaten and
Hmm.
rioting and getting arrested for this just to have this.
It's
And then
unfortunate. Yeah.
and then for to get this little not to have this little corner and then have some group of people be like to try to take that. Like you said, it's discouraging. So it's like, bro, give us this.
It
All 11 months of the year, we're fighting we're fighting this regardless. But like, give us this one, and then maybe we'll. I wouldn't say grant you the other 11 months, but it's like, okay, we don't want to tolerate it either, but at least give us something.
Yep. Yep. It's interesting, and obviously because you're a minority too, but you see like similarities between being a minority and then also being in the minority of your sexual orientation, and it's discouraging to see people are still pushing back on it. And this isn't supposed to be political or anything like that, but I mean, people like to bring politics into things like this, and I think that it's not really a political issue. I mean, it's like, do you love somebody or do you not love somebody? And that really should be all that it is, really. Like, it doesn't matter.
Like Oh, I was about to say continue, but but it's like when I had those dudes popping in my stream, it's like what does it matter?
Yeah,
It's like what does it matter? It's like if you're, you're pan or demi, bi, trans, lesbian or gay, queer, anything in between, what does it fucking matter? How does it affect personally, how does it affect you?
exactly.
Is your life being changed in some way, shape, or form because I happen to like boys and girls? Is your life being changed because, this lady, loves another lady? Like how is this directly affecting you? And I don't want and half the time it's like, well, my religion's like, first off, I don't want to hear this religious bullshit to begin with. I know that in Leviticus or whatever what passage of the Bible you want to come up with, but that was literally written at a time where, again, you couldn't afford at the time you couldn't afford to be, LGBTQ because it was, you needed to populate. I understand that the world was scarier at the time, and again, you needed, 7, 8 children just to at least survive because at least half those children were probably going to die of disease.
Yeah.
That made sense at the time. That doesn't make sense anymore.
Yep.
And there's a whole there's more behind it. It's like I don't like half the time I don't want to hear the whole religious aspect from it. It's
Yeah.
tired. It's it's old, tired. Half of the half of the book flip flops on itself. Regardless, again, I don't see how this affects you other than, oh, my religion and respect my religious rights. Your religious right stops at being able to go to church.
I
Okay,
mean,
does the government allow you to go to church and worship? Cool.
yeah.
That's all it counts to. I don't need you trying to prophesize and trying to like impose your shit on me because you don't understand something and thus it confuses you and you hate it for some reason because you're confused.
I mean, in the end of the day, I mean, if we're gonna go towards that, I mean, you're supposed to love your neighbor, and judging somebody and treating them like garbage is not loving somebody.
But you'd be surprised at how many people don't want to take that aspect of their religion and just go for like the most heinous shit possible.
It's true. You're right, and I think there's a lot to it, for sure. A lot of just people that have been given platforms, and over time it's been it just continues to fuel itself. But the nice thing is that I feel like this generation of people have starting to come to realize, like, what, like, this is wrong. And we see a lot of younger people now fighting for X, Y, and Z things, for rights, for for
Being changed. No, no, you're right. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty and the frustrating thing about it is that change is always incremental.
yeah,
Um, Obviously within a generation or two, it could feel like it's changing a lot more rapidly, but that's because you're living in it.
yeah,
Excuse me. But change is incremental. I mean, coming from where things were like 50, 40, even 20 years ago is not the same as now. And again, it's a slow process. I mean, obviously, when you look back at it, it feels like it's so sudden, but it has been a long, trudging road for a lot of things. Obviously, with LGBTQIA rights, BLM rights,
yep,
just in general, like even Native American rights, like everything is incremental. And even though it feels slow and like nothing has moved at all, like it has still come quite a ways from where it was before. And that's all we can count on is that if we like you said, we educate the next generation and then that we educate the people now
yeah, yep.
about how what things are, how things need to change, and then move on from there.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, it's the only way that we'll be able to, Unfortunately, it's going to be a slow burn, but I mean, if you think about it and you look at our grandparents' generation compared to now, like, I mean, they were treated a lot worse than we were, and being Latino American, we still see people treating us in a different light sometimes, but
Well, hell, even amongst ourselves too.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and it doesn't make sense, honestly.
Like,
Ish.
yeah, I know. even, even as I am, like, even as I am, like, being bisexual, like even sometimes that comes with its own caveats as well, because even in my own even my own communities,
Yeah.
either I get the response like, oh, you're just confused, or oh, you're just gay and you don't know. It's like, where do I win here? Even amongst my queer brethren, it's like I'm not really who I am, and then for the rest of the community is like, you're just I mean you're just having a phase. Okay, so
Yeah.
again, where do I win?
You don't. I mean,
Where
yeah.
could I just be what I am, and the fact
Yeah.
that I do in fact I'm attracted to women and men, and not have to be one or the other.
Yep.
I just am, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, even in the smaller communities, like you still get you still get these reactions.
And that doesn't make sense to me because, especially with Latino American, like that have multi generation that have been here and seen this, and been treated differently. Like to start treating somebody differently because of sexual orientation, like it's the same thing. Like like you're getting treated by the way you look. Okay, well you're getting treated by the way you feel about somebody else. Like it's literally the same thing. Like it doesn't make sense to me.
You know, it's it's funny how the things that you fight for, especially like in the Latino community, the things you fight for the most is what you end up fighting against
Yeah.
later on. You know, it's like a there's like the Friedrich Nietzsche quote is like, when when you're out fighting monsters, make sure you don't become one yourself.
Yeah. True. It's good. That's a good. That's yeah. Yeah. Hate is
And
hate. At the end of the day, hate is hate, and I think we should all identify what hate is, and spread love, and not fight in between communities, because we don't, because you're technically like you're hating if you're, it.
it's yeah, it's difficult. That's hate, like, as it is difficult to pin down, even though it shouldn't be. Like, hate as it is, like, if you're infringing on my right to just exist,
Yeah.
then that's where it needs to fucking stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here,
Agree.
like, point, end of sentence, done. And I know a lot of people, you will use the free speech aspect of, like, cool, I get that. You're able to speak your mind, but especially with hate speech, that shit ends when it infringes on my right to exist.
Yep.
So if you're talking about executing the queer, stuff like that, that's where it stops.
Agreed.
Like,
Agreed.
it should have stopped like a sentence before that, but that's where your free speech ends. And again, free speech doesn't mean that I don't have the same entitlement to rebuttal you. So if you're sitting here screaming, it's like, well, it's just, well, I see, I can't speak my mind anymore because where has free speech gone? Cool, you had your turn. Now, using my free speech, I get to tell you how much of an idiot you are.
Yeah.
Free speech also entitles me to criticize the hell out of you and shame you if you're that dumb. It goes both ways, and a lot of people like to scream free, First Amendment until the lungs bleed, not realizing that, again, that same liberty allows me to criticize the shit out of you if you're, like, completely wrong. So it's a lot of things.
It is. It is, and obviously, this could probably go on for multiple hours. It's a big conversation for sure. But yeah, uh, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time for sure. May not happen in our lifetime, but we'll, just as long as we continue to push forward and fight back, against hate, uh, you know, that's
It's like it's. I'm sorry. No. It's just like you said. It's all education.
yeah, it's
It's
all
all
education.
education.
It is.
It's all education, and then just just hearing people out.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, yeah, having the time to sit down and think, um, with your own thought process, not with whatever people told you in your past,
Right.
actually like sit there and think and listen. Probably does a lot better. And I was glad that you that night that those people came to your stream, before you guys really like, got hate towards them and or pushed back at their hate or whatever you want to call that. You guys definitely talked about it for a second, and I liked that, and the conversation that was had, probably like after 30 minutes of that, like it was good stuff, and I'm glad that took the time to try to educate these people, because I think that's you can push back with hate and anger, but it's not gonna always, like, there's some people that you have to do that to, and like we said, like if you look at our ancestors and people just 10-20 years ago fighting and trying to claw their way just to get a month dedicated to them, or have the right to vote, or
Yeah,
have the right to do,
even recognition.
Yeah.
Period.
Or not get treated like that poor couple got treated at the place that didn't want to make them a cake.
Oh, the cake shop?
Yeah.
That was so dumb.
Yeah, like stuff like that is, it educating them is the most important thing. And those people definitely didn't learn a lesson, but somebody definitely learned a lesson through all of that. Maybe not the people that own the cake place, because I think they're still doing shady stuff, but somebody learned a lesson, whether it be a cake shop that may have done that in the past. Somebody learned a lesson from that whole experience, for sure.
You're right, and and like I said, it's a shame that that cake shop is, hasn't probably still doing some shady stuff as it is. But the only way, especially since it's a privately owned business, the only way you can affect that is obviously in their bottom dollar.
Yeah.
And obviously, they still have enough. Excuse me. Obviously, they still have enough business to keep them going and be able to do what they do. But obviously, that couple's going to go to someplace else,
Yep.
even though they wanted to go there. Obviously, because I assume that the cakes made were of high enough quality that they wanted to seek them out. But you could always find another place,
Yep.
and word of mouth travels. And if there's enough people that affects their bottom dollar, then that's the only way in a situation like that will change. And like you said, some people sometimes you have to educate people, but other times you have to hit them where it hurts.
Yeah.
Be it the bottom dollar, or in the case of my stream, like I will rebuff you right the hell back, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm not one to shy away from conflict. So if you try to come at me with that hateful stuff, then I am more than happy to fight back.
I still think y'all did a good job, though. I think you talked about it for a second. You sat back, talked about it, and then obviously you punched him in the mouth. But before that, you definitely had it was a good conversation. I think it was important. I don't think those kids will learn from it, but maybe one of those 3 kids would have learned from that. And obviously they got all of them got their Twitch accounts nuked. So we'll see what happens.
I despite despite some of my other personality traits, I like to put the best foot forward, and I want to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe in not the goodness of people, but that you have the ability to be better.
Yeah.
That's what frustrates me a lot of times, especially even now with all this debate. Like you literally have a freaking computer in your hand.
Yep.
You could pull up information on the ready
Yeah.
from the world's library, and yet you choose to be ignorant.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. You have such the potential to pull up information, good information, not just biased information, and yet you choose to go the opposite direction.
Yep.
And that's ultimately what frustrates me, and that's why I tried to put my best foot forward. And once I saw that that wasn't really happening, and they were just firing back more vitriol, I'm like, all right, well, I'm done here. I'm not. It's not beneath me to get in the dirt with you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will say, "Well, take the high road." Like, no, 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 no. Taking the high road sometimes makes them feel like they got a victory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't respond back and just try to take the high road, then they wipe their hand. They wash their hands. They like, "Yeah, I won this debate." No, no, no. Let me take the kid gloves off. Let me wrestle in the mud with you, and then once you tap out, then we're done. I've never sometimes you take the high road, but I've never understood taking the high road for everything. And again, it is not beneath me to get in the mud with you.
Yeah. So, we'll take this into some other direction here. Freak, what is your favorite video game of all time?
Ooh, besides Destiny, I'm actually streaming the series now again due to a lot of my technical issues, but it's Mass Effect.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Um, that is definitely. I mean, I like sci-fi as it is, but that is definitely a series that really got me deeply involved in the storyline, and especially with the fact that again your decisions carried on to the next game, and so on and so forth. And I know a lot of people shit on the ending to the third one, and there's a lot of discourse behind that, and how all whatever, a lot of philosophical discourse behind how you never all your choices were going to boil down to that anyways. But I really just didn't love. I love just the characters, obviously, the setting, the backdrop, just how beautiful everything looks, especially when you're in like the galactic maps, and how each galaxy has its own, not galaxy, but each solar system has its own unique look, and it's just, especially as the series progresses, like it just looks more beautiful and beautiful. Just space itself is just beautiful when you look at it from a panoramic view,
Yeah.
and as the game, as the game paints it, it's astonishing. Like, just everything, even the music itself gives you a sense of like wonder. You know, it's such a vast, it's space, obviously it's so vast, but the music gives you that sense of the vastness, and yet the intrigue and the want to explore.
I got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Mass Effect is an amazing series for sure, and that remake looks so good. I've watched it, yourself and a bunch of other people playing it, and it's just they did a great job for a game that's been out. And it's crazy. I think we talked about this on your stream the other day, but it's crazy how relevant like this game could still be, like in terms of just being a good game. Like there's just some games
Yes,
that they stand the test of time. Like they're still good even if you play them today. And there are games that came out 10, 20 years ago or even longer. Like Mario's a good example. Sonic's another good example. Street Fighter, another great example, or Mortal Kombat. Like those games, like they're just so much fun to play. NBA Jam, and I think Mass Effect can be put in that category of games that are still fun to play, and it's pretty cool to see. Like the remastered version looks really good. They did a great job.
I agree, and I only wish I just had a better console for it, but still. So it's nice to look at it, touched up, and just not look all pixelated to hell.
Exactly, exactly. It looks like it was supposed to look. Obviously, when it first came out, I mean, it was
I mean,
PS2 graphics were amazing, but I mean, for the time they were, but you know,
uh, it tried.
exactly, exactly. Okay, what's your favorite game you streamed so far? And I know you stream a lot of Destiny, so I'm inclined to thinking it's probably Destiny.
Actually, surprisingly, when I'm able to, it's my favorite game to stream thus far, and it's probably mostly just because of the team experience, but it's actually Call of Duty.
Okay, okay. I
It's actually
mean,
Call of Duty. It's actually Call of Duty because again, with the people I play with, it's always it's more or less the banter that we
yeah,
usually have than anything else.
I got you.
Um, I like to stream Destiny, but again, that's very team oriented. And
Yeah,
then depending on what we're doing, that could be either really great with banter, or as the last time when we tried to do the world's first raid, could be toxic.
true, 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 true.
And you'll see it on my face usually, depending on what kind of how it's going. If it's good, then obviously it's a lot more smiles, a lot more banter, and if it's not, then my face and my silence will give it was a dead giveaway. But yeah, Call of Duty has always been, when I'm able to stream it, period, has always been great because I mean, there's low expectations to begin with. So if we get a dub, then fantastic. If not, I mean, we're still doing goofy stuff anyways.
For those who don't know, Freak is part of the Frosty Clan. It's him, Punisher, and a couple of other members. I mean, it's not a couple anymore. It's a crap
Like
load.
almost a dozen.
Yeah, but you guys have been in business for a little bit now. I mean, I think y'all probably have hit the 1 year anniversary of the Frosty Clan being in existence. When did you start? When did you start with Frosty Clan?
Well, going back to Destiny again, it was because of that game. They were still big on Destiny. This was before Shadowkeep. So this was mid Forsaken DLC, and I was doing a public event solo, and suddenly, a lot of since it's a public event, I mean, people can come in if they choose to, but given the space in the area, it's not just all willy nilly. So I'm doing this by myself, and then suddenly, like a whole group, a whole gang of them just came in. And then they sent me a message, and usually I'm really weary about just random people sending me messages when I'm playing my game because I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna get
Hmm.
stuck with some kind of squeaker, and I'm not gonna enjoy myself. And it was Frosty Punisher's nephew, Frosty June, and he was like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, uh, trying to do this by myself. He's like, wow, that takes balls. You got a clan? I'm like, yeah, but I guess we're inactive. Why? And then the propaganda train started up, and couple of more games with them, and I was hooked on it. It took a little while longer for me to change my name because if there's anything about Frosty June is he's very persistent. But they got me to change my game tag, and I was speaking to another member of ours. I kind of screwed up as far as the name is concerned because I used to be known as Metal Freak, and instead I went with Frosty Freak instead of thinking it kind of over. I could have gone with Frosty Metal, and I still regret that to this day. But I'm too far gone
I mean,
because
you
I've
can
got a
still change it.
no. I've got a logo and everything. I can't turn back now.
Although I'd probably fuck your name up. I'd probably still call you Freak, to be honest with you. I mean,
Freak.
I was gonna
No,
say,
yeah, you're right.
I still call Dan Girthquake Game Hub, and I keep
Oh, that's
messing,
true.
I keep messing that up. So yeah, you're probably right. I would have kept calling you Freak for sure.
But I mean, I've already got, already got the logo and everything from Pixie. I'm like, I don't. I'm like, I'm already too entrenched.
Frosty Metal does sound pretty dope, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you could have like an
See,
ice, like a metallic ice, that look
you
pretty
see,
dope.
yeah, I done goofed. I didn't even think that far ahead to even think about that. I could potentially stream in the future, and I just like, yeah.
Yeah, like Frosty Metal. So where did Metal Freak come from?
Um, I Freak is a name that was originally given to me from my days of playing of Pop Warner football and such.
Okay,
Because I was a fat kid, but I was kind of fast for a fat kid and a little aggressive. I mean, not like the aggressive part has changed too much, but um, the metal part was just I like metal. I mean, if I my Spotify playlist, my liked playlist will show you an eclectic mix of all kind of musics, but at the end of the day, I'll always kind of revert to metal. Depending on if I'm having a bad day or anything in general, metal's usually my go-to.
I got you.
I grew up with my dad listening to the Scorpions and Metallica and Megadeth and all that kind of stuff, and so I was already acquainted
Yeah, yeah.
with rock and metal to begin with.
So
Um,
last year, you won the Twitch Sings performance for Small Streamer Awards. I mean, we're talking about music. I mean, I know you were in a band, and people maybe not know that you play musical instruments. Let's talk about it a little bit.
yes, I sang in a band. Um, I played harmonica a little bit. I really need to get back into it because I feel like, especially when some of the more technical techniques, when as far as using the harmonica, like I've gotten lazy at it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I can do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but it's been such a long time, and I'm not even sure where I put my harmonica. So that's going to be a challenge again. But yeah, singing's was my thing. I mean, I still do it now when no one's looking or in the shower or in the car. But it was a fun experience. I mean, it ended up being sour at the end because some ideological differences between me and the guitarist, but I liked it. I mean, it was fun. Having just even if it's just a crowd of like all of our group of friends together in like a tiny little dive bar that probably shouldn't have been that full, but just getting paid the meager amount that they kind of gave us, but mostly just in free drinks.
Yeah.
Um, being sometimes being able to play with other cover bands as well was kind of fun, especially in the bigger venues. And overall, it was just kind of nice. Just the whole setup, trying to work with the Genki setup that I had, especially with the amplifiers and the mixers and so on and so forth. Um, it was a fun experience all around.
It sounds pretty dope, man. It sounds like it was a good time. I mean, you don't get to you live one life, and you got to experience, a little bit of get a little taste of what it's like to be kind of a star or a rock star or something like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Little 5 minutes of fame.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, now you're on your streaming career though, you get that opportunity to talk and communicate with, just a wide range of different people around the world, and I think that's really cool too.
I think that's what gets me too. Is I'm normally a little introverted. Um, and that's what always kind of shocks and surprises me when I do get people from the far off reaches of the planet. Like one follower, Lysina from Germany. I got other people from literally the country of Cyprus.
Yeah.
You get all these people from various parts of the world. It's like, holy crap! Why really? You're watching me, huh?
And
Okay.
it's like 5 or 6 in the morning sometimes for some of these guys, like Winchy and Dan, are
Yeah,
a good example. I mean, Bunny Theory, I think, is in where's she
Norway.
in Norway. We got
Yeah.
somebody from Poland that I've seen a sticker to before. Like it's nuts.
Yes. Yeah, and Frosty Dirk, I think, is from Germany as well.
Nice, nice. That's cool. Like it's something that the streaming life is pretty cool. Like just building up an audience and building up a friendship with a bunch of people that are just all across the world, and I mean you get to meet some of them. Like we got to meet a couple weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes, and you'd be surprised, especially with a group that we know as well. Like would, like I didn't even know half the little Chicago gang that we got there that's over here with there's me, McNasty, Chicago Scooby, and Lou Bear Pig and all those other guys. Like you really don't tend to realize how many of you are, and like literally me and McNasty are maybe like 10 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Even in Dallas, dude, I didn't even know. Well, I knew Mario was there, but I didn't want to go because his parents. I didn't want to potentially infect them or get them sick because it was all happening during COVID. Obviously, for those that have watched the podcast, I mean, I started streaming because of COVID, and Freak, did you start streaming because of COVID too?
It was certainly a catalyst. I think it had always been in the back of my mind to give it a try,
Yeah.
and because of COVID, it's like, you know what, let's do it. And then on top of that, again with my ex, she she was in Canada, but since she wanted to be more a part of what I love to do, which is gaming, she's like, okay. So I originally started streaming, A, because of COVID, and then B, to integrate her into the a lot of the game lore and the games that I loved, so that she'd be able to watch. And there was only like maybe like an hour and a half time difference between us, so it was a lot easier, you know. And then from there, it just kept going.
That's pretty dope. That I like that a lot. Like, yeah, I was gonna start streaming, and then I just kept pushing it off and pushing it off, and then COVID happened, and I had like extra time, and I was like, yeah, let's start streaming. But yeah, it is it's crazy. Just the amount of people we've gotten to meet in really a short period of time, if you think about it,
Yes.
it's pretty insane, honestly. And just the not just people from America, but it's crazy. Like I was saying, like we met and it just felt like we had known each other for a long time. I think that was the other cool thing. It didn't feel like it wasn't like an awkward thing when you meet somebody for the first time. It was like, dang, like I've known this guy. Like I know Freak. Like like it was cool.
And that's the beauty of it too, is that especially our little group of peoples is like we're I mean, especially when you're on streams, you still have to have that, that streamer viewer kind of buffer.
Yeah,
But even after that, like especially when at the after streams, um, just being able to, shoot the shit on Discord has definitely made it a lot easier, to communicate, just to get that familiarity as well. Even just being on each other's Discords, period, has built a level of familiarity.
exactly, exactly. Another another topic that I wanted to talk to you about, mental health awareness. I mean, you have mental
Oh,
health awareness streams uh, almost every Sunday. Definitely important. I think a lot of people in the community really enjoy and appreciate those. And I just want to just, bring some awareness first and foremost before we even get started. If you are having any bad feelings, vibes, anything like that, and you're not feeling like yourself, I mean, 1-800-273-8255 is the national number here in the United States, National Suicide Awareness Hotline. Please, please give that a call. And then, we're about to talk a little bit about that subject because I know Freak, he dedicates at least one stream every week, or tries to dedicate at least one stream
I
every week.
try to when I'm not dealing with my own mental health issues as well. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I'm definitely an advocate for, again, seeking help where you think it'll do the most good, and even if that's reaching out to someone or even just kind of sucking it up and you know going to a medical health professional and being evaluated, or seeing what's the best option. It, you know, your pride may tell you that, "Oh, I don't need medication. I can just," it's like, if it doesn't hurt, it only benefits you to try to use all the tools you can to better your mental health. That's something that I've had to grapple with as well because, again, being Latino, we're not especially good with mental health, and especially being males too, or at least identifying as males. There's definitely, that latent machismo in there, like, to just not seek any help
Yeah.
until, like, it's almost killing you. You know, there's always that push of just, sucking it up and pushing everything down, and you gotta be this monolith, and you gotta be this pillar, and you don't let anyone fucking see you cry, and it's like, as much as you try to beat that back, it sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it literally cost me a relationship, honestly.
Yeah.
um, but it's a lot of it takes a great amount of strength to recognize it, but it takes even more to then act on it and try to use whatever tools possible to, better your mental health and make you, at the end of the day, just happier, or at least content with yourself, and not, you know, tearing yourself down on the regular, or just being in a bad mental spot, you know. And like you said, I try every Sunday to have these, and again, it's very unscripted, and it usually goes off the rails about an hour in. But again, the main focus is to try to, you know, have an open forum and kind of talk things out and try to talk about a subject to whoever's listening at the time. Um, and just make it, what's the word I'm looking for? Make it non-taboo to just openly discuss these things, and just being able to, not have to feel like you're on an island by yourself, and you have to do these things by yourself,
Yeah.
you know. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And like I said, I try to keep up with it. And like I said, these past couple of weeks, I haven't been on top of it. for a myriad of reasons, but part of it is, mental health reasons. And that's another reason why next week I will be seeing both doctors, one for my diabetic purposes and the other one just specifically for mental health, and see because and seeing what kind of aid I can get from there, because I thought, with the upturn of vaccine rollouts and just more sunlight incoming and just the mere hope of not being stuck at home, forcibly, or in the case of Florida, not forcibly.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I thought that would bring like a swing as far as, depression and anxiety and all that stuff, but it hasn't gone away,
mm,
and it's just lingered. And at this point, I'm just like, maybe this is something I have to do permanently, or maybe I have to take something or seek this other help until. And I don't know if again, I don't know if it's just gonna be a temporary thing, but until I can put myself in that better position,
yeah,
you know. Um, but again, it's all about, like you said, it's all about, feeling like you don't have to be by yourself.
yeah,
And
definitely.
again, and it feels like a tired trope, you're not alone. But seriously, the only way these things become a bigger problem than what they are is having those feelings of, feeling prideful and feeling like you have to be this monolith of yourself and be on this pedestal that, you have to be the marble pillar of the community, and you have to be strong no matter what, even though your base is cracking at the bottom.
Yeah,
Nothing is done by yourself, well, except um like none of these issues are solved by doing it by just keeping it to yourself.
exactly. It just gets worse and worse and builds up, and before you know it, you have some sort of medical condition, or something, your health is deteriorating, and it's or you start having bad thoughts, and like I said, that phone number, definitely a great hotline. And if you want, I've said this in every podcast, come to our streams, go to our discords. Freak, like I said, has mental health awareness streams. You know do your best to try to talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be us. I mean, we're not medical professionals. We're just
Oh,
people that spread love and joy and happiness, and definitely we have everybody's best interest in our own minds as well.
yeah, like you said, sorry. Like you said, we're not medical professionals, but at the same time, like, and as I mentioned earlier, like, I definitely am the type of person who wants to see everyone be their best selves.
Yeah,
I mean, usually it comes at the cost of, myself not being at my best self, but I definitely, again, and I'm part of the process is I'm trying to also be my best self, while at the same time, it's like, okay, well, if gonna do this, then you come along with me. I'm definitely a person who wants to see everyone be their best selves, you know, and then I in turn now am trying to do the same thing, so that way I'm not just, that way I'm also leading by example, you know. But again, I can only do so, because again, I have to come to terms with myself and that I do need the help. And then I've got you guys, I've got, the bar and Wench, Tree, even though again we've broken up, and again she still supports me regardless. Um, I've got my family finally, not being extra Latino about it. So
that's good.
they finally come around, and is like, oh, well, do you need anything? I'm like, oh, okay. But, you know, it takes a group, you know, and it's definitely, especially those days where I literally don't want to get out of bed. I have to, because I have to go to work and survive. But like, especially those days, it's nice to know that at least somehow, some ways, one of you checks in.
Yeah, yeah,
And sometimes that's literally all the difference.
yep. And like I said, if you guys want to join our discords, join the discords. I mean, there's a mental health awareness section. Every once in a while, we'll have little out off stream, just mental health awareness chats where we just kind of sit around in Discord. We need to do that again soon. Um, you
Yeah,
know,
for
that
summer we've gotten a little disjointed, but I think that's because we're all kind of stir crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Once things should hopefully get a little bit better here in the summer, and we'll have a couple more because I think I think everybody could use one. Especially this time period is still really weird, and COVID's still affecting a lot of people. I mean, regular life before COVID was still definitely could have used some mental health awareness streams and chats before. Obviously none of us were streaming yet, but you know, I think everybody in here could definitely attest and say yeah to having something like that in the past would have been pretty helpful.
I think so. It would have been a world of relief to know all these things now. But again, hindsight is always 2020. So
Exactly. I mean, all these experiences definitely make you who you are, and that at the end of the day, I mean, it's well, the good and the bad. I mean, you have to continue to move forward and smile and or try to smile and just progress in life.
yeah, and well, shit, you took the words from me. But I mean, that's all you can really do is just at least try to put one foot in front of the other and just move forward because stagnation stagnation of it will catch up to you. And as I always say, especially being such like a future forward thinker myself, is like stagnation is what eventually will kill you.
Yeah. Yep.
Being in the same rut and having the same mindset and not changing at all will eventually lock you in place, and then that's eventually how you get you bury yourself essentially.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that's all the questions that I have for you, Freak. I always ask, do you have any questions for me?
What's new in the dose pipeline?
What's new in the dose pipeline? So, for those that don't know, Sunday, chat decided to redeem hydrate 150 plus times after stream. I had so much energy that I built some bookshelves, which are behind me right now, which you'll see on stream this week. So that'll be pretty fun. I won't have to always use green screens because I mean one of the things that kind of sucked is when I came over here, I left one of the lightsabers behind, and I ended up leaving the red one behind, the Vader one. And so the green one doesn't really work very well with green screens. Believe it or not, it doesn't
Oh
come out at
shucks.
all. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Trying to think what
Little
else.
know little known fact, you had enough energy to build a gazebo at like 9 in the morning.
For those that are watching, that will be watching stream Friday. I have a big announcement, but you guys will already know that when you watch this podcast. But there's definitely a huge thing coming. New kind of partnership. I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be some fun. You know what? It hasn't been talked about yet, but yeah. The first shirt is coming out finally. And
Sweet.
that'll be fun. Uh, it'll be good times. It's gonna be like a limited release. So it'll be available for I don't know less than a month I think, and then that's it. But that won't be the only time I'll have a shirt. I have I actually have other goals with the merch, but I wanted the first one to be a little special and different, and then I also wanted the first one to be
Let's
with
let's start small.
with a more premium place. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I wanted the shirt to be kind of premium, not like just something that you
Yes.
can buy from Walmart or something like that.
I mean, but you get it from Walmart though. But
Well, like Gildan, like the not.
oh yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, I didn't want it to feel crusty after like one or two wears, if that makes sense.
Some high quality stuff, not just made out of 50% cotton and what is that? The other 75% nylon.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean those shirts. The bad thing about those shirts is that as soon as you dry them, they shrink really bad. They discolor pretty interesting, and the screen printing starts to get kind of faded. So yeah,
Tad bit.
that got announced yesterday, and then I'm trying to think what else. Like, I mean, there's always like new changes, so the overlays will probably get a little different. I'll have and I was supposed to have it for this stream, but for some reason, I think when my OBS crashed, it removed the little rainbow AVI thing that I have here.
I wanted to mention that at the beginning, but then again, since it crashed last time, I'm like, let's not overload it because I didn't. I don't think that might have been the cause. Yeah,
No,
that
I don't
was.
think so. There we go.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's not tempt fate here on this one.
So that'll be the logo for the month of June. And not just that, like I'll have it on OBS, and that'll be representing Gay Pride Month. I think that's a really important thing. So I think that's it. I think that's all I have in terms of what's new for the week. But God knows, I mean, things change. Like I think you just never know. Like life is so different sometimes, and now that I don't have like I wouldn't call them like I'm not constrained by other things.
Stressors.
There we go. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier. And tomorrow is Friday, which isn't tomorrow when this podcast airs. Friday is
Yeah.
my off day, so I'm gonna be taking some time to mess around with stuff stream wise. The TikTok's been going pretty well as well. So we got a TikTok. We had a video that had over 1,000 views. The last video, so that was pretty cool. It was a good video too. It was like a video about mental health and being positive and stuff. So
Oh, I feel like that's a platform I haven't jumped onto because I have Snapchat and stuff like that, but it's like I feel like I don't do anything that interesting to be building a TikTok video for. And especially, I know I see a lot of the editing tools that go along with TikTok. I'm like, that sounds great, but I don't do anything that fun
hmm.
to be having a TikTok. Maybe as I get more free time and I start actually leaving the house a little bit more. Like I said, it'll be at the expense of not being in a lot of people's streams. But
Yeah.
once I'm able to do that, I do the things I love before, like exploring and just having a walkabout. I might, but again, that's assuming that I feel like there's anything interesting about me to TikTok about.
TikTok's fun. It is fun. I've had a good time with it so far. You know, I've kind of created something. It's like a 1 minute Twitch review. So I go to somebody in our community's channel, review them for a minute. I had to speak really fast, but
Really.
they work pretty good. I think that's fun. Those end up getting a lot of traction. And I think I try to do one once a week at least. I'm gonna try to do like 2 videos a week, but it's the
Nice.
process of TikTok, like you just mentioned, it's especially if you want something that you like can customize. It takes about a good hour. So these are like 1 minute reviews. It takes me probably like 3 or 4 minutes to kind of do it all, and then edit the video, come back, do the actual voiceover on the video, modify it again, come back, and then upload it to Adobe Cloud and then upload it to TikTok. That's kind of like the process. It ends up taking about an hour in total.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. But it's fun, and I think you should definitely give TikTok a try. I mean, you don't have to do all that. You can literally just record from your phone.
No, I realize that, but then again, knowing how I am, and again, part of the reason why some of the streams that I'm doing now are literally reverting back to how I started, because again, with my whole capture card issues, like I know I can just do it straight off the phone, but you know me, and I'm not going to be satisfied with just doing the bare bones,
Yeah,
because then I will want to do stuff like that where I'll spend like an hour editing and so on and so forth, because that's just how I am.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And that's part of the thing about just a bit, again, being a content creator, is that you don't want to just put the bare minimum out there. You want to continuously get better to provide the best content you can do given what you have to whoever's watching.
100%. I think that it's really important to it's really important to make sure that you're doing the best that you can because it reflects when you do a good job and it reflects on on yourself. I agree with you on that. That's how I see everything really. I try to put my best foot forward no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah, and your best before sometimes means you muting your mic, but
Listen. I have a lot of buttons and things. Okay, yeah. I mean, y'all wouldn't know this, but right before stream or right before this podcast happened, I thought we started recording and I was muted. I noticed it thankfully within the first 20 seconds or something like that. But it was a classic 2 hours move for sure.
Also classic tourist things that you might see if you haven't jumped on Twitch is that he also plays. He also does cosplays.
That's true too. Yeah, the cosplay. We got I think probably another. I don't know. I need to maybe another week or two. We'll have Chief Murky and What If I'm a Bear debuting, and those will be pretty funny. Yeah, the
I'm sorry.
Murky.
I'm
Oh,
laughing at the murky part.
only one person has seen the Murky one, and they died laughing their ass off. And
I sense cat ears.
yeah, they were yeah. I mean, the Murky one is gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. Yeah. I'm excited. The Murky. I mean, the Bear one is gonna be good too. The Bear
Oh,
one. Yeah, Bear is a character. Him like Bear and Murky are characters. They both are.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're entities unto themselves.
I guess one other thing. The small streamer awards will be returning. Right now, you
I'm
guys
glad
could
you brought that up.
vote on the day. We have a couple of dates listed. You can vote on the date. We're thinking late July, or in August at some point. We're trying to do it a little early this year because we want to kind of have like a end of year, beginning of the year awards too. So we'll have like two different little awards show every year. Like it'd be kind of fun, and I'll alternate some of the awards. So streamer of the year won't be in the awards at the end of the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I
And
think that there's a lot of
I have
people in this community.
yes. Sorry. Yeah, and especially someone like yourself who also the little known fact about those setters will scour, the pits of Twitch to find the most, obscure streamers possible and bring them into the community. And that's literally how we wind up meeting half the characters that we know is that the people that like have like maybe one or two people watching them at the time.
Yeah.
And Dose and all of his infinite wholesomeness will rope them in.
Yeah, we've met some pretty awesome people like that. I think that's I mean, for those that are streaming, that might be, trying to find ways to branch out, definitely raid people and kind of integrate with their communities and see what you can do. Like, don't get aggressive and weird. Just start to learn about them, and they'll come back to you.
Well, I'm out. That's exactly what I am. I'm just weird.
You're not weird, freak. You know what I mean. Try to act like you own the place is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, that's the weirdness I'm talking about. Not you being weird. I mean, like getting in a community and be like, oh yeah, I've been here for like 10 years. Like that's what I mean. Just go have fun and learn about other people. I think that's the beauty about Twitch is that you get to learn about, a ton of different people.
Yes. Again, legitimately, again, that's through you. That's how I met Lamar. That's how I met Wench, Dan.
Yeah. Bunch of people really. This whole community is built on, I mean, even your story about how you joined the Frosty Clan. Literally, you were just sitting around playing Destiny and a whole bunch of random people came in kind of like, hey, you want to join our clan? And there you go. Within a couple of weeks, you were Middle Freak, and then you were a Frosty Freak 708. So, I mean, that's how life is.
And that's yeah. And the takeaway from that is that again, normally I don't respond to messages or chat invites on Xbox Live. I'm like, but it's one of the few times I'm glad I'm like, you know what? I'm actually glad to decided to just, not be myself and actually join and actually accept the chat invite
Yep,
as opposed to being like, I don't feel like talking to these randoms.
exactly. And usually I'm like that too when I'm playing games. But, it's cool that you responded to that one that ended up making a big difference in you.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying, it's just about taking that leap, taking that chance, and like I said, just not being an asshole about it,
Yep.
but just taking that leap and just going into someone's stream who you don't know nothing about, but just integrating yourself and just joining into the chat in a
Yeah.
not asshole way.
You'll never know. You'll never meet people that you like if you don't actually try and learn about other people.
Yeah. And again,
Well,
that goes back to our topic today. You don't know until you can open yourself up and allow yourself to listen and join in the discourse.
that's a great way to end it, is by going back to how we started it. You can't learn about people.
Life is a circle.
Exactly. You can't learn about streamers. You can't learn about people without sitting down and listening to them. So the lesson that we learned today is that love. Here's your virtual hug, freak. I had to do that once, okay?
I was waiting for it at the beginning.
I saved it for the very end. You know that. Come on.
The best for last.
Exactly. Seriously though, love, understanding other people, and that's really the only thing. That's the most important. If you pick up anything from what me and Freak talked about today, sit down and listen to some people. It might make a change in your whole life.
I hope people pick up something from our conversation because I got a little angry at the middle there.
Yeah, we kind of got. I know. Well, Freak, this won't be the last time, but this was the first time that we got to have some fun here, on the podcast. I appreciate you for joining us. I don't know if you got dinner or what you're doing after this, but probably gaming.
I'm definitely gonna eat dinner after this because I was kind of waiting there. I'm like, all right, when he's done, I'm not gonna eat because I know when I'm in the middle of eating, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right, man. You have a good night. I appreciate you. And to everybody that's here watching, just remember you're loved. And don't forget, sit down, listen to other people, meet new people. Y'all have a great one.
Thanks, everybody.